Good morning. um, Today's day one of no job. I mean, you might look at it as, oh, she's on vacation. No, no one's paying me for this vacation. This is the first day of my life without a job, without getting paid for a vacation. Like, there's no monetary input for today. Like, no monetary input. And it's just weird. It's weird. I got home around 8 last night, maybe a little later. I used up most of the work day yesterday to try to finish up. I did not complete what I completed more than what I thought I was going to be able to complete. There was a sureness of speaking it into existence that I'm going to complete more than what I initially thought I was going to complete. Still accepting the fact that I wasn't going to complete everything that was on my plate. And as I was cleaning out like papers and stuff and just throwing stuff away, shredding stuff, I was speaking into existence. Everything will be resolved. Everything will be forgiven, right? I will complete as much as I can, which is more than what I thought I was going to be able to. And whatever I didn't get to was going to be resolved, was going to be forgiven, I was going to let it go. And the rest of the day turned out that way. I had lost track of the moon, when the full moon was going to be, full moon in Cancer this week, because I was so focused on trying to work and I stayed up and trying to do as much work as I could. And so I lost track of when the moon, I thought the moon was actually on Tuesday. But, and so Wednesday I drove into work early. Like, I left the house like at 5. It was 5. And I work up in the high desert, so I take El Cajon baths. Beautiful. I mean, the moon was still out. I had forgotten, you know, you work remotely and you forget those excuse me, those moments, right, of that you appreciate. And I've always appreciated it. Like, it was always something that I knew I loved about working this distance from work, was the drive. I love the drive. The view going up the pass is beautiful. The view coming down the pass is beautiful. I happen to go during a time when it's opposing traffic, so it's nicer for me, so I don't have to be, you know, back-to-back traffic. But doing the type of work that I do, it was a nice 45-minute break to de-stress, to let go, detach from whatever hardships there were at work or home, to mentally and emotionally prepare myself from where I would arrive, if it was arriving to work in the morning or coming back home, if something was stressful at work. So I really appreciated that time. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I have colleagues that feel the exact same way, because even though we work in the high desert, all of us commute. So most of us commute from farther places, and those of us that commute, that enjoy the commute, who see that value in it, speak to the same truth. The drive down was when I realized it's the moon energy. It's because the mountains were illuminated in such a beautiful way. Oh my goodness. I mean, how beautiful is the moon energy and the moonlight on all the darkness, right? The darkness, the appreciation of the dark in order to appreciate the light. So I had some great connections after work. I thought I was gonna fall apart. I really thought I was. Like, I really thought it's gonna hit me, right? I've been on this crying mission, marathon of crying and crying and crying. And I cried in the morning, but I really, really thought I was going to cry. And I did tear up at certain points, and it did feel like it was going to come out. But then it wasn't there. And not that it was a bad thing. And I wonder if I, at any point, just thought it, to just let go of it. And like I mentioned before, sometimes when we set our intentions and we're not specific, it will play out as it will play out, right? As it should play out. And I wonder if that's what ended up happening, because I connected with a few people afterwards, and there wasn't like, it was surreal, one, to connect with these individuals, because I hadn't for so long, like face to face. It was over Zoom or over the phone, and me, seeing them, feeling their energy in a different way. And it wasn't even in a different way, because it was this, for me, I still felt it the same way that I did over the phone and through Zoom. And I wonder if, so for me, it didn't feel that much of a difference until I paid attention to it, where I was like, shouldn't it feel more different? Like, that's what I initially, that's what threw me off, was like, it's jarring, because it's like, you haven't seen these individuals face to face. But at the same time, for me, it felt like any other day. It felt like I had spoken to them. It felt like I had already had an interaction with them before. But it wasn't until I really paid attention to the fact that I had not been in the same physical space for over, 6 months? We started in March when our agency went. For over 6 months. And I thought, and that realization of like, shouldn't it feel different? Like, and here's the weird thing. I felt it from the other individuals. I felt it from them. That like that contact, like, and the way I was able to tell was just, there was like this almost unmet need of connection in a different way that was missing, right? And people talk about it, and one of the individuals I connected with, she talked about it. She talked about how she felt cheated. She's so cute. I love her so much. How she felt cheated from our relationship, because these were clinicians that I supervised, from our relationship, because we never got a face-to-face supervision, right? It was over Zoom, over phone. And so she feels cheated to not have had that. So now I'm wondering, it's energy. It goes back to energy. How it's viewed differently, right? These individuals, I got the sense that they were just wanting more time, right? And I'm wondering if it's the energy that they are only able to feel when there's that physical closeness, right? Because that's ultimately what that is. It's when we all have energy within us. We know that, right? I don't know if I mentioned that in one of the videos. I know I thought it, but I don't know if I actually made a video on just the energy, right? I think I touched on it when I was doing like the Bumble stuff. We have energy within us, right? When we talk about, we know energy exists, whether you like it or not, it exists. Otherwise, there's no gravity, right? Gravity exists, even though you don't see it. Microwaves, right? They carry energy with how they cook the food. When we go to ball games, people are adamant that their energy is going to help determine the change in the course of the game, right? When you go to a ball game, that's when you watch the ball game from home, right? There's this crazy illusion of like, they feel my energy, right? And you know, dressing up and all of that. Then you go to the actual ball game where there's more people, you feel the energy of that arena. You totally feel it. The proximity of it, right? You're next to it. And these individuals I had not been physically next to, but I have always felt their energy through the Zoom, through the, you know, the phone calls. I posted an early video about this transference, this positive transference. I was in a meeting with these other leaders, and you could just feel the flow of the energy going back and forth, the excitement through Zoom, And we talked about it as a team, like, this was so great, like, you know, and what is the blockage? Because today was an example for me, or yesterday, of that. Like, for individuals to feel like they need to be in close proximity to someone to feel their energy. And it goes back to, and I had this conversation with one of the individuals that I met that I was blown away of how much energy work and she's doing. But just, she mentioned that we don't have to be in close proximity to people, because I mentioned to her that I wanted to do a past life regression. And then she threw at me some other terms that I wrote down. She's like, maybe you should try this instead. So I was like, ooh, okay. You know, I'm like super excited now. But she referenced something that I had already kind of suspected, but so grateful that she mentioned it. And actually, it was like a validation of my gut intuition, right? Of the energy and the 5D and just how it's gosh, I wish I could have recorded her. You know who you are. I'm gonna send this link to you. You need to create your YouTube channel because I know you have a wealth of information. I was telling her, I'm like, you need to create your YouTube channel. She has this wealth of knowledge that I know would be helpful. But anyways, squirrel. I really, she just explained it to me in such a way that I'm like, yes, I totally, like, I felt it, I knew it. And I led myself astray, right? Being mindful of who I'm listening to, who I surround myself with, right? Those 5 people that I mentioned, I mean, of course it could be more, but who are those 5 people that I'm going to surround myself with, who are going to help me move forward, right? She is definitely these two, because these are individuals that I admire, I look up to. Their wealth of history in terms of just experience in the field that we do, in the different fields that, because they've worked in different fields within social work, and they're spitfires. I kid you not. Like, they think so quickly and problem solve so, I am blown away by them, blown away by how quick and son listos, you know, and I love it. And they're, you know, we've been speaking more together because of the fact that I'm gifting them my old responsibilities. But I wasn't worried because I knew they were going to figure out a better, more efficient way on how to get that done. But anyways, she talked about this 5D and just, we're not going to need to be next to each other to really benefit from whatever energetic connection or interconnection, right? Because it's a different type of world that we're encountering, that we are starting to embrace with this conjunction, right? This shift, leaving the earth hardcore grounded energy into this more air energy where you just speak it into existence and it happens. So I wonder if this feeling of, I feel lighter. I feel lighter. Aside from the fact that, yeah, I don't have to work anymore. I don't worry about staying up late, doing notes. Like, I mean, and other people are reminding me like, oh, insurance. Yeah, you know, I've been there. I've been there. And I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. I know, like, I'd rather strengthen that intuition within me too, because that's what's giving me peace. This inner knowing that I'm going to be just fine. And these fears and worries of the world, right, of this old world, of how we used to do life, I am not going to let interfere with this newfound connection within myself, with God, that I am going to be just fine. So this is day 1. This is the next morning. I fell asleep on the couch. I got home. I think I sent like a text or two, and then I knocked out. And so before I knocked out, right, someone had asked me, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do next? I'm like, well, what do you mean? Now that I got home, or now with my life, right? And I realized that it's the same answer for both. Anything I want. Anything I want. What a gift, right? What a gift. I wanted to meditate last night. That's what I had told him. I want to meditate. I want to thank God for the workday, the people I connected with, the drive up, the drive back home. Beautiful drive, beautiful drive. I just want to thank God for this moment. And although I didn't meditate because I knocked out, I know God heard me. I know He hears me. He's hearing me now. So I have no doubt that He doesn't know how I feel. He knows. He knows. He always knows. He is everywhere. And all roads lead to Him. All roads lead to Him. I am grateful for this, for day 1 of the rest of my life and the possibilities that it holds. I am grateful. And I'm going to appreciate every moment, every interaction, every individual. I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to appreciate it. That's all